How you doing, guys and gals? Again, this is the third video I've made today, and as you can see, the sun is coming up, and I've been watching movies all night. The third movie that I've watched is called Begotten. Now, Begotten is a very different movie than anything I've ever watched, and if you watch this movie, you'll say the same thing. The stunning thing about this movie is that there is no speaking whatsoever. It's not exactly a silent movie because there's sound effects and music, but that is part of the haunting atmosphere of this movie. The way I can describe Begotten in one sentence, if I had to, it is one of the most visually nightmarish films I've ever seen, and it is easily viable to make you have a nightmare. Just for the opening scene in the movie. The opening scene for me is one of the most, what's a good word? Like verbose, maybe. It's so damn creepy. Like, the movie's black and white. It was made in 1990. Some say 1991, but I think that's when it was majorly released. But it was filmed and released in 1990. But the opening scene is just so haunting. And I've seen a lot of imagery, pictures and stuff of this movie, but I've never known it was from a movie. I thought it was just photography done by someone that was themed in such a grotesque display of haunting imagery. The movie goes as follows, and I think this is an artistic movie left to interpretation. If you're ever doing a thesis for an art class or a film class that you need an assignment for or an example of artistic view in a movie, this one is perfect because simplicity meets metaphorical substance, you could say. The story goes, this is a movie that depicts a visceral and gory tale about how gods are killed and reborn. So, for me, it's kind of ironic because I am an atheist and I love mythology, all mythology. I like storytelling, I like the whole thing. But watching this movie and seeing the metaphors of how gods react to the world and how the world reacts to humans, and then we go back up. So follow me here for a little quick synopsis. At the beginning of the movie, you are mind-fucked and irate with the image of God cutting himself open and disemboweling himself with a straight razor. And he's in a cabin in the middle of the woods. Sorry, I have a hair in my mouth. And it is one of the most haunting scenes I've ever watched. And from his death, Mother Earth is born. And Mother Earth is the spirit, and she, pardon my French here, okay, earmuffs if you don't want to hear anything, she jacks him off to get his seed so that she can create life. Okay, so we have God creates Mother Earth. Mother Earth creates life. Then the next scene, and through the entire movie, is the Son, which is flesh and bone. And he is this cowering, shaking skeleton, this monstrosity of a creature that has been created. And these cannibal men are doing nothing but torturing this guy and traveling with him and dragging him and then eventually eating him. And the way I take it is that, you know, whatever happens, we're given this world, and then the sun is a depiction of earth and life, and then man is destroying what has created him. And you just see, you know, how long and how drawn out this movie is. It shows the torture and the longevity of pain. And I mean, the imagery and the sounds, and I mean, this movie is really long. It's about 70 minutes long, and there's only 3 acts. I mean, I guess you would say, but each one of these acts is extraordinarily long, and just, it gives you time to think. I mean, the point of this movie, I mean, and it's black and white. All this is rendered and edited, and the visual style is just filter onto filter onto filter. I mean, sometimes you don't even know what you're looking at because it's edited in such a way. And IMDb was saying that for every minute of film, it took about 8 hours to do all of the editing for the scene. So it took about 8 months to post-production for this movie for 70 minutes. And it's just really frightening. I mean, just the imagery. And I don't know, I'd love to hear what someone else's opinion is about this movie. This is one of those where you could show it to a group of people and each person would get a different opinion. I mean, not on the overall thing, but on different parts of it. But it's simple. That's the mind-blowing thing is you just have 3 simple acts that it's so hard to explain. A rating on this movie, 1 to 5. I'm watching this movie because I'm creating a list of most disturbing films, and this is definitely one of those things. But I wouldn't call it a film. I mean, I wouldn't call it a movie. I mean, a film and a movie are 2 different things. If you do not know that they are 2 different things, then you know nothing about cinema. But I wouldn't call Begotten a film or a movie. I mean, it's really just an art piece. There is characteristics that would show that it is a movie, a film. But then there's not. I mean, this could be, you know, poetry in motion. But if I had to rate it on 1 to 5 for entertainment value, I don't know. It's depending. It's floating around 2 and 3 out of 5. For disturbing factor, 5 out of 5. Entertainment value, not so much. If I were to put this on my list of 1 to 10 or 1 to 20 of the list I'm eventually going to make of the most disturbing, this would probably get an honorable mention. I'd have a little asterisk with it and saying you have to watch this movie, but not necessarily fits within the list. I mean, it's kind of on its own. It's taken out and set aside. But that's it for this review of Begotten. That's Begotten. And watch this movie, because it's definitely something that you don't want to miss out on. So thank you guys. Remember, for video game and movies and science and technology, hit thepausemenu.weebly.com. And remember, no shave November. Try and grow out that beard.